Frittata!
Frittata, you already said you would moan a lawn if you did get 100K.
See? What am I always saying? I hate this fucking shit.
You mean mow or moan, right? Because then you'll just stand on a lawn and make a moaning sound. You know what? At this point, I don't care. Sure, get me to 80K subs in the next opening. I'll be standing on a lawn and I'll be moaning. I will moan your lawn for 100K subs. Or even, who needs dignity when you got subscribers and a silver play button? It don't get much better and much more authentic than that, right? God, my life is pathetic. And I figured you would interrupt me too. Forget it. Let's not drag on this opening for too long. Let's just get right into the news. Media will not have Switch 2 reviews before launch due to significant day one patch. Well, when they say day one patch, they really mean an excuse for Nintendo not to allow day one reviews. Them's the rules. I guess Nintendo just needs more time than they've already had. Those of you hoping for early reviews of the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware and software shouldn't expect to see them popping up anytime soon. How far are we till the release of the Switch 2 exactly? June 5th. So we're just a couple weeks short of the release of this device. And reviews won't be out till what, literally a day before? The game business has been doing some digging, and the reason for the lack of pre-launch hardware reviews is that the Nintendo Switch 2 will require a quote-unquote significant day one update. It's weird to me, because usually like Nintendo updates at most are no bigger than an MP4 file. I mean, that's one thing I'll give Nintendo. Their file sizes aren't usually this massive thing that takes forever. So I'm wondering what the significant day one patch is all about. Further details on said update were not disclosed by the game business. We will hopefully have our Nintendo Switch 2 review coverage published at the same time as other publications. Some media have been warned they will not have their machine until launch day. What? Until launch day? Nintendo has told journalists that this is due to the requirement of a significant day one patch. So are they telling us that the current Switch has a huge issue that's going to require an update that just so happens to significantly impact the timing of all major reviews from all outlets? No, that's not sus at all. No, of course not. Nintendo is just doing what's best for you and best for their product. It's really frustrating, said one editor. We will need to cover Switch 2 while also working across Summer Game Fest. Oof, how are we supposed to do that?
Shut up, bitch! Oh my God!
Well, welcome to the life of an everyday YouTuber, my dear journalist, covering multiple stories at once with better editing, better scripts, better research. Don't be complaining. I mean, I still think it's fucked up that Nintendo is obviously intentionally getting reviews out as late as possible. Just pull off a Dreamcast guy. Once the thing comes out, play it for an hour and then put out your review. Just like he does. He literally plays Oblivion for 30 minutes and then puts out a review just to secure his views. If Dreamcast guy can do it while also recovering from significant tooth surgery immediately afterwards, then you guys got no excuses. God, and they're making it really hard. Whose side do I take? Evil Nintendo or those soy boy beta journalists that think their jobs are so fucking hard? What a travesty. Honestly, the real issue here I see is if there's no Switches available for reviews, how are people going to be reviewing these Switch games day one exactly? If nobody has a Switch, how are we expecting reviews of Mario Kart World and all those other third-party ports? That's the real problem here. I mean, just looking at the specs of the device alone, I came to my own conclusion about what I think about it. I don't need no journalist to tell me that, but I'm not going to be buying their $80 games. So somebody covering that would have been very useful, and it seems Nintendo has made it difficult to do so. And I refuse to believe that it's because they need to do this update. I mean, come on. How long have people been waiting for the Switch 2? About longer than they've been waiting for a PS5 exclusive worth buying. Because the way Nintendo has this set up, it's so that people can only review it once it is out officially. And I fail to see how that's good for the public. I fail to see how that's good for consumer perception. To be fair, people have already locked in their pre-orders and ensured this thing sold out before they knew if it was going to be any good, which is typical of your modern day consumer. It's why $900 consoles are a thing. Who needs to know ahead of time? Just buy your fucking device. Like they can't just manufacture new ones and it's better to pick one up when there's games worth getting. Another added, anyone who can get a hold of a console early from a dodgy retailer will have a head start in terms of coverage. I know the console will be sold out at launch, but what about all the other games? Yeah, exactly. That's the same question I was asking. I mean, who else does this other than a sketchy corporation who wants the quickest, most positive seeming reviews out there? Because if you give people enough time with this device, they'll find problems with it and they'll share said problems. But it seems Nintendo wants to create the illusion of a no problem console at launch by doing so. It is indeed sketchy, but the fact that it's coming from Nintendo, that I don't understand. They should be very confident in their own device, unless we are looking at what could be yet another major Joy-Con drift issue, or we could have people's Switches bricking at launch, like the last one did. Granted, it is the internet, so a lot of problems will always be blown out of proportion. People have a tendency to do so, but I see no reason as to why Nintendo just can't let people have their reviews at least 2 weeks or even a week out before the device comes out. Miss me with this whole day one patch bullshit. People should be able to review the device even before said patch, give their opinion on that, and then give their opinion post-patch. I don't see the harm in that. Again, unless there's something Nintendo is trying to hide, which is not your personal data. That they will share with the world. One PR boss told me they feel they have something special for the launch of Switch 2 for those that want something else in the addition to Mario Kart. But the lack of independent critical validation is going to make it very hard for us. Maybe we should have been better off waiting a few weeks. See, I don't care what journalists have to say. What I care about is what tech channels will have to say about this device, which I'm sure plenty will have, but limiting access and then limiting when people can review the thing, it's all intentional. I mean, don't believe in Nintendo for a single split second. It's all on purpose. A sudden day one patch. Yes, day one patches happen. Hell, the Wii U needed a day one patch. But are we really supposed to believe that there's nothing that could be done to ensure people have at least some reliable reviews out ahead of time? Like I said, it doesn't matter. Everybody pre-ordered. Reviews aren't going to change that. Nothing can change the course Nintendo is set for. They're gonna succeed massively with this device, probably even more than the Switch 1. But I'm just one of those people who doesn't look at the success of a console as whether it's something I will like or not. The Steam Deck, which is insignificant in comparison to the Switch 2 in terms of sales and relevancy, is still my go-to handheld device. I'm not the type of person who's invested in the Gucci brand of console gaming. I don't care if it's branded Nintendo. That's not why I will buy it. Well, I'm not going to buy it anyway, but branding alone doesn't set a precedent for me. There's several reasons I won't buy this device, reviews or no reviews whatsoever. But it's hilarious to see that leading up to this device's launch, Nintendo has done everything wrong. I mean, I guess the only things you'll have to go off of are the word of people like Jeff Keighley, who's purchased and owned by just about every single gaming corporation on this planet. I mean, this guy will pretend to like anything for money. I'm not trying to pick sides here, but low-key, I think it's slightly based that Nintendo is giving the middle finger to whiny journalists who act entitled to every single device and video game out there. And knowing that they're crying and their lives and jobs are being made harder, well, it does bring a big smile to my face. I want to high-five Nintendo, but at the same time, I'm thinking about how this affects tech reviewers that I actually do watch and listen to. I want to shit on this thing day one, and they're not gonna let me. At the very least, we got to look at the specs. That's the closest thing we're gonna get to a review leading up to the launch. We have hands-on experiences, but what we need is like a solid month with the device to get a proper review, in my opinion. And several games need to be tested on it. An entire process that we normally expect when it comes to tech. Now, some are speculating that it's just a patch meant to activate the console. That way there are no leaks prior to launch day, but who the fuck cares? People are thirsting for any little bit of info they can get on Nintendo, and they should capitalize on that instead of worrying about leaks. Like, what are you worried is gonna leak? That your games are good? That the device is good? Ain't no way you're worried about good leaks. You're only worried about potentially bad leaks. Not to mention, I'm thinking about all the half-assed reviews that are going to be put out there because people were rushing to be the first to get their Switch review online. And it makes you wonder how many opinions are even going to be genuine. How many are going to be thorough? How many are going to have as much information as possible? Because that might just be a little more favorable for them. Even if the device was to have the most negative reviews on the planet, that would not affect it. Nothing will stop Nintendo fans from buying a Nintendo device other than poor marketing, which luckily Nintendo has obviously not done with the Switch 2. It's been marketed excellent. But the last thing I want is, multiple Dreamcast guy Switch 2 reviews where he only tried the device for a total of 5 minutes. It's so blatantly obvious everybody who puts out their reviews day one is lying about their opinions. And that's the problem. We already deal with enough lying journalists, and Nintendo's just feeding into that problem. So thank you. Thanks for making journalists even more unbearable and unreliable. And I still don't buy this whole day one patch bullshit. The console's gonna be hacked within like a month, and people are gonna be emulating it within a year. And if you have nothing but good things going for you, then why worry about any sort of leaks? Why make it harder to get reviews for the games and the device out there? I don't think it's some conspiracy theory. I think Nintendo just works however they want. And they are indeed going to be as selective as possible. Anybody who does have any reviews prior to its launch, even by a day or two, or even a week, is all going to be handpicked by Nintendo. Personally, for me, there's just nothing but red flags all over the place. They charge you for game chat, and then that same game chat that you pay for is allowed to spy on you. Then they're also allowed to brick your system if you even dare to try to customize it. The games are $80. There might be a price hike coming. It's not that much more powerful than a Steam Deck. I don't need any review to convince me to buy or not buy the device. I can come to my own conclusions, but no early reviews does make me raise an eyebrow. Nintendo, you better have fixed your Joy-Con drift issue and are not actively trying to hide that. That's like the worst case scenario I could think of. Other than that, it's more than likely Nintendo is just being very cautious. But like I said, not like they have to, because this thing is going to be emulated within its first 12 months, so a lot of wasted effort. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you so choose to. That being said, I'll see you in the next video.
Fritongo sucks ass.